Welcome back to the beautiful Pacific Northwest. Today I've got a great one for you. We're going to go over the differences between the 1025R and the 1023E subcompact tractors. I oftentimes get asked by our customer base, why should I go with the 1025R, step up a little bit? Or why should I stick with the 1023E? Today we're going to go over some of those questions and some of those answers, so let's get started. All right, so here we've got it. We've got a little 1023E tractor. We've got a 1025R. Oftentimes I get that call from a customer saying, hey, I've got a small property. We've got, up to about 5 acres. We're just looking for something to maintain the land. And quite honestly, both of these tractors can do that job. It's just a matter of, some of the finite details of each that will kind of lead me and guide me to which tractor is best for you. So I'll start by saying, it's really easy to discern kind of horsepower on these two. 1023E, 23 horsepower, 1025R, 25 horsepower. Now I will say that those numbers are just a little off, right? You've got some actual technical specs. I believe the 1023E is going to be roughly 22 and some change, and the 1025R is 24 and some change as far as horsepower goes. But for reference, the numbers kind of tell you what kind of horsepower you've got on these guys. All right, so that's kind of where I would start. If somebody's doing a lot of ground engagement implements, so they're doing a lot of tillage work and that kind of thing, usually that's heavy horsepower. So I'm gonna probably try to maximize horsepower for that consumer. So I would probably push them a little bit more towards the 1025R. If a customer is just mowing their property, they want to use the loader quite a bit, I would probably start to kind of, maybe try to save them a couple of dollars and orient them towards that 1023E. I will share that both of these are equipped with a 120R loader. You can get either one of them with a 120E loader. Most of the time, we would order the 1023E minus loader, and we would have a 120E loader put on it. Now that's going to have the same lift capacity, but you're going to save yourself a little bit of money because it doesn't have the John Deere Quick Park system that I've shown you in a couple of the other videos. But both of these tractors have the 120R loader, and so that lift capacity is going to actually be the same on both of these tractors. There isn't going to be any really difference there. One of the first things you're going to kind of notice about the two is creature comforts. So what do I mean by creature comforts? Creature comforts are things like LED headlights that you're going to see on a 1025R. You're going to see some side working lights on a 1025R. You're going to see things like a floor mat. A little floor mat on the 1025R is going to isolate you from vibration. So that's going to help you out. Again, creature comforts. The seat, let's chat about the seat really quick because that makes a lot of difference to a lot of people. All right, on a 1025R, you're going to have a high back, nicely bolstered seat with armrests. So let's drill down a little bit deeper into those seats. So 1023E, no armrests, kind of a one-piece design. I will tell you it's contoured very well. It is super comfortable. It has some rubber suspension underneath, so you've got a little bit of suspension. Of course, you have the ability to move it fore and aft, so all the seats are going to be like that. You've got the standard seat belt on there. So it is a nice seat, got a nice drain hole in the center of it. Very, very comfortable. But if you're going to step up to a more premium machine, the 1025R is going to offer you that cut and sew pattern that we've come to know in the last couple of years with John Deere. It's got the actual embroidered patch right on the top with the John Deere symbol. And then again, it's going to have those armrests that are very convenient. Additionally, underneath, you're going to have a spring platform style of suspension underneath. So I think that's going to give you a little bit more, ease as I'm riding on my property. So again, seats, I think that one definitely goes to the 1025R. Speaking of the kind of the driver's compartment, let's hit about that floor mat a little bit more. Rubberized textured floor mat, very, very nice on the feet. Additionally, you're going to have some extra cladding around the side of the tractor. So you're going to see on the 1023E, you're not going to have as much cladding on the bezels and whatnot on the side of the tractor. So it's just kind of a little bit it's I would say a cost savings measure. When you jump over to the 1025R, you've got extra plastic cladding on the side, adds to kind of a nice, more refined look to the tractor. And additionally, you're gonna get a 12 volt out of that machine as well. So you're gonna have a 12 volt plug-in right on the side. So that's really a nice feature as well. You're going to have a lot of similarities in the two, so they're both going to come with toolboxes. I know I've seen on some of the forums that everybody was saying, oh, 1023s don't have the toolbox, 1025Rs do. Well, I will tell you they both come with that added toolbox, which is a really nice added benefit to it. Let's talk about the steering wheel. 1023E is going to have a wonderfully kind of positioned steering wheel. I can get in and out of that tractor without any challenges. It is a great position for the steering wheel, but if you're on and off your tractor a considerable amount more, the 1025R might be the better choice here. The reason being it has a tilt function on it, so I have the ability to tilt that steering wheel both out of my way and then bring it down, so I've got a nice, more ergonomic kind of driving platform. Let's focus in on one of the bigger differences between the 1025R and the 1023E. This is the 3-point with position control. So on a 1025R, you're going to have a 3-point lever that's going to have position control. What do I mean by that? Well, I have the ability to drop down my 3-point and lock in where I want to have that 3-point set every single time. So on the 1023, you don't have that feature. It is a kind of a spring-loaded feature, not as premium. I have the ability to kind of come back to that same depth every time, but I have to eyeball it. So I would have to bring my tiller down and kind of eyeball it and make sure that I'm at that same digging depth. Where on a 1025R, I lock it in, I just drop my 3-point right down to that same digging depth every single time, and I'm going about my business. So if something like that, again, another feature that's really dedicated to those ground engaging implements, I probably would orient you towards that 1025R. Another key feature on these two tractors is cruise control. So 1025R, cruise control comes standard on that machine. All I have to do is lock in the cruise control. It pushes my pedal down and I can maintain a steady pace on my property. So if I'm actually disking at a specific speed every time, I can actually set it and kind of forget it. On a 1023E, not offered on it. Unfortunately, you just don't get cruise control. So if that's a big feature for you, again, probably want to steer yourself towards that 1025R. Let's talk about factory installed options. So if I'm looking for a factory installed 260B backhoe, the only one I can get that on is a 1025R. If I don't care about factory installation and I just want my service department to do it, that 260B is available and can actually be put on a 1023E very easily. So you can get a backhoe with both. Factory installed though, have to go kind of steer towards that 1025R. Let's talk about another factory installed option, the cab. I have a nice, beautiful premium cab with heat offering in my 1025R. Unfortunately, 1023E does not have that factory installed Mauser cab that you would get with the 1025R. So again, if you're looking for a cab, you're gonna have to steer yourself towards that 1025R. Let's talk about loader connections. So both have a 120R loader. On the more premium version of the 1025R, you have the option to have the factory installed single point hydraulic connector. I've talked about the single point hydraulic connector in a couple other videos, but nice factory installed single point hydraulic connector. Unfortunately, you don't have the ability to get a factory installed single point hydraulic connector on a 1023E, but you do have the ability to add a single point hydraulic connector to that tractor. So, you know, where that kind of comes into play, now this new for this year, I don't have to necessarily have that single point hydraulic connector. I can get it factory ordered without it. But, you know, if I was adding a front snow blower or something like that, add a front hitch on both of these, because they both do have that mid-mount PTO, it's a lot easier to add it without the single point hydraulic connector. And so, you know, if I was kind of in a pinch, needed a tractor right away, 1023E might be the way I went if I'm looking to add a snow blower really quick. You know, snow's upon us, time to get that in and out of the factory. If I didn't have time to factory order a 1025R without single point hydraulic connector, that will actually do the job for you. So nice little note there, but that single point hydraulic connector is sweet. So don't let me dissuade you from that. That thing is all right. So in summation, you know, you don't have a bad choice between these two tractors. They're both phenomenal pieces of equipment. I would say they're probably on the top of our selling heap when it comes to compact utility tractors. You know, those customers with 1 acre up to 7 acres, you know, and everything in between, maybe bigger, you know, if you're not actually working all of that land. These tractors are just little workhorses. Either way you go, you're going to get a premium offering from John Deere. But I will say, if you're confused between the two, I hope this video has helped you out. If you still got some questions, please comment down below. That'll help us kind of get some answers out there that we may have forgotten in one of these videos. But for the most part, I think that's a pretty basic overview. I haven't mentioned, and for a reason, cost on these machines. You're definitely gonna see a higher cost on a 1025R. More features, more cost. That's just the way it happens, right? But at the end of the day, some of those features are obviously worth the actual step up in price. I didn't mention price because, again, they're ever changing on these machines. Our incentives change all the time, that kind of stuff. If you want the best deal, come see us at Pape Machinery. We're gonna take care of you. Like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks. Hi, my name is Jason Hughes. I'm a territory manager out of Eugene, Oregon. I'm also a large property owner and own a lot of the equipment that you see featured in these videos. I hope you find this content helpful. If you have any questions, please comment below.